So yeah, what did you guys want to do?
Real quick on that, I'm trying to remember, but I believe we also had some sort of plan to inspect the prisoners downstairs.
I
Oh, also,
stole one of the prisoner's unit patches so that hopefully
yeah.
we could take it to somebody like the captain who would know more details about who they are and why they might be being tortured.
Also, third, did you start the recording or?
Yes, I started the recording.
Okay,
I
good deal.
realized as you started doing your introduction, oh, I should probably record this.
I realized after I finished my introduction that you should probably record
Yeah,
this.
that was the moment that I clicked the
See,
button. So,
Yeah,
see,
good.
the thing is that we got immediately started. There wasn't a comment that demonetized it.
Yes, it's fair. But yeah.
So we're set on that. We don't really know what's going on with the sarcophagus.
no, but I have my imp on it.
Right.
They're hiding in the room, and they will let us know.
Where is everybody? I'm just in a hallway.
Everyone's in
I'm
hallways.
near some stairs. Because we
Good luck. I'm
also
already lost.
had it established that the trapped chest that was opened, it will be like they'll figure out someone stole that stuff today.
If you guys took it, I think there was also some lingering, like, did we take it or did we leave it there to avoid suspicion? The trap was sprung, so that's going to be noticeable. So I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure you guys did take it.
I think we decided to take it because the trap was sprung, and we also used the circle uh, for the day. So anybody who would attempt to use it today would notice that.
So if you guys are done and want to just take that and book it, that's fine. If you guys want to keep on doing stuff, that's fine too. Let me know what you would like to do next.
I'm trying to think of what we would want to talk to the Countess about. We know what's happening. Well, we have most of the info on they're having a party here. We don't know the exact guests, but we know the military is going to be involved. We should probably follow up in the discussions on the fleet breaking the blockade. It sounded mostly like the guy just didn't believe, like, he just typical arrogance, doesn't realize that the fleet is that big of a threat. But he might also know more than he's letting on. What do we get from the Countess? Just to verify that she's going to be here on that night, and so the two of them are splitting their attention?
And you kind of can infer that based on the conversation with the other countess.
Yeah. I'm talking as a group, if there's anything we're thinking we need to know info-wise.
I will also say that part of the conversation that was discussed, it wasn't just overheard, you had a full conversation with the two military guys, is one of the reasons that they are confident that they will be able to break the blockade is they have gotten some intelligence that the New Dawn has sent away one of their larger ships that was recently spotted in waters heading towards Asarius, and that was why they were pretty confident that they were going to be able to break the blockade.
Yes. I guess for me, I was under the impression when we sent off the ship, it wasn't going to seriously derail our blockade.
I don't know why you had that impression.
Oh, then why did we do that?
Because we couldn't kill the kids.
There would have been
Because we
so many
couldn't
other
kill the
options.
kids. We're not about killing kids.
That's why I didn't object. I'm like, well, the optimal solution is off the table, so we will do this instead.
Huh. I mean, we still have a submarine with which they have no real ability to counteract. And we also, of course, have Nash.
Yes, we very much have me. I could just, go punch holes. Also, have they engaged the submarine yet? Do they even know we have it?
The third question.
As far as I'm aware, they don't know we have it. I mean, at this point in the war, they have to be aware that the UDDC has something in the water because they have been sinking their ships. But I don't quite know. God, what was the unit? Does anyone remember what unit you had to have in Warcraft 2 to spot the enemy submarines? I'm thinking,
Oh, a detector.
yeah,
Yeah.
like maybe they don't have a detector and they're just like, what's blowing up our navy?
Yeah, they're the balloons of various, the gnomish flying machines and the goblin balloons or something like that.
That's right. That's right. So maybe they don't have. I mean, these guys are racist, so I don't think they have goblins or gnomes. So they probably are totally unprepared.
I like that logic. Let's stick with it.
That's an assumption.
It is curious in this sort of setting and world to think about how one would try to have countermeasures versus a submarine.
I mean,
That's why submarines are the best counter to submarines.
we have established that the ocean does not count as running water, and they are an empire of vampires that don't need to
Ye-
breathe.
But for their admirals and whatnot, but they're regular. There are any naval empire is going to have more freighters than it has vampires.
Oh yeah, of course. But they will have they could have anti-submarine patrols that carry a scuba diver, like a SEAL team vampire guys, basically.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I could
I
imagine
think the
like
best way to deal with a submarine is watch Atlantis, and you just have a giant crab robot, and it'll laser beam the submarine.
I'm also,
yes.
if we just want to stick to a currently trending D&D memes topic, heat metal.
No, I'll do it.
I'd like to
How
create
effective
water
is that if you're
inside their
underwater?
lung.
Yeah.
Still makes the metal hot.
You still
Magic
heat it.
doesn't need to, yeah.
You still heat it, so it still does the fire damage, even if they're
Thing is,
underwater.
if you're just a high level druid, turn into like a fish, turn into something that can like squeeze into a crack or somewhere, or like when it opens up, to sneak in as a spider and just like fill it with gas or something. I don't know.
Like there's
Any magical
so many,
spell.
there's so
Insect
many
plague,
ways to deal with
anything.
something that is like submarines in reality have a thin layer between themselves and utter destruction at all times. Introduce magic into that? Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, I suppose you can just give some guy like a manta ray cloak and like a magic dagger and just run up and stab the metal. Fucking.
Yeah,
Or
persistent
your
with
magic sword.
But
Sure,
this is
sharpness.
also one of those things where it's also going to be counteracted by the magic tech that made the sub in some way. I mean, it's like the whole, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where half the engineers were trying to make the hitchhiker button better, and the other half were trying to make it not work at all. Like it feels like this is one of those sort of ever escalating engineering technical issues in a world like this.
this is true, but these are also, or at least my understanding of these subs is that they are the first subs that have not really gone through those iterations yet.
Well, I think some of it has to rely on Magitech because there isn't internal combustion, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
a whole magical submarine is a lot harder to make than probably just a little magic thing to blow it up. So.
Yeah, right. Yes, I get that. I mean, that's the nature of how complicated a submarine is versus how complicated a missile is, right? Like
Yeah.
even in reality, yeah, I get that. I'm just saying it's a very curious thing to think about because
Like-
it's unclear as well how many measures they have put in place to deal with this. If the vampires have really thought, oh, this has been a serious thing and we really need to work really heavily against it, or because this is the first submarines, if they're still like, the fuck do we do about this?
And again, I'm just doing the intelligence gathering, so I'm saying this as a player, not as a DM. In this regard, Thur is still going to be in charge of any of that stuff once we zoom out. So, player opinion, the subs probably don't have the early, U-boat issue of need to surface every once in a while to vent the smoke exhaust from our diesel engine because they have like a magical engine instead. So they're already at, they got
Yes.
that going for them, but also if it's the first iterations of the sub, then that means that they're going to be. They haven't had the defense pass, so there could be solutions that enemies have on hand that don't even necessarily need to be catered to a sub that might be effective. But I don't think the UDDC just has been around long enough as an engineering civilization to have, because it's not like these aren't
yeah.
Rosny's subs; these are the UDDC subs.
Right. I mean, this is
So-
like you said, because this is the first iteration.
Yeah.
Both sides are figuring out
Mhm.
what the hell to do about it. UDDC is going to be using this time to well, first, I would imagine if this is based anything on how early sub warfare kind of acted. First, the surface navies have to figure out some way to combat them. And not just like some way, but an effective way that they could do reliably and without it being too expensive. Once they have established that, then the people making the subs will have to find ways to counter that. And then once they've countered that, then you go into the escalation. So as far as I'm aware, we're still in the phase the UDDC has begun using these. And in lore, there hasn't been any official surface navy answer as of yet, as far as I know.
No, but there's probably one that is ready off the shelf. Is my opinion. Is there's probably, of the existing countermeasures to other issues, there's probably one that would also work against subs.
Yes, I agree. I don't know what that would be.
Oh,
My first
yeah.
thought for that would be basically Alvarez Stormtrooper depth charges.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm imagining the scenario that, like, the Stormtrooper is able to basically just, they're launched into the ocean, and they happen to be close enough to the sub that they can grab on, and then spider climb around on it, right? So, like, the crew just hears, like, the clangs on the outside, and then they just start wreaking havoc.
Yeah.
Kind of like
subs,
a horror movie. But they have to be close
yeah,
enough.
real subs do not have to worry about boarding parties.
Yeah.
So that already there, like, just even like Elijah with a sword of sharpness could fuck up that sub.
Yes, oh, for sure. Like, I'm aware that there's tons of these things, but it's also like,
Well,
what is most easily available? Because I don't think everyone is going to have a sword of sharpness.
No, but
No.
it's also, we're also not talking about how are they going to deal with a sub anywhere. We are talking about they're in a set location where they can focus their efforts to break this blockade because they've known, like, this has been, they knew enough to send other people here for reinforcements and what.
Right.
So
So at the moment, they seem to be unaware that there is a sub operating in the area.
That's a third question.
I mean, you guys
But
have had the submarine attack their convoys already, right? Like, it's part
Yeah.
of the blockade.
I would assume that they would be aware. But
I thought we were having the pirates do that.
The pirates are doing it, but you assigned the Leviathan to help.
Some of this stuff is also hard because I feel like we've been doing this for months and I can't remember all of the decision.
That is also very true.
Okay, well then they would be aware of that, and that would be something to deal with. And my brain now is thinking of like sunlight counter depth charges somehow. I don't know how that would work exactly, but that my brain is already wondering about what's the counter to the counter before they
mean-
counter that with another counter.
Well, so remember that the sunlight, at least, the Alvarez already have a counter for that, right? Because their stormtroopers all come equipped with anti-sunlight armor. So presumably, if they're chucking a stormtrooper depth charge at you, sunlight's not going to cut it. Because like if it's a naked vampire aboard your ship, you just install drift globes throughout the whole thing because they're common magic items. And then
Maybe
whenever
they already have a whole bunch of drift globes. It's perfect for the drift globe industry.
right. And so
Yeah.
when I mean it actually makes sense because they're a source of light that doesn't consume oxygen, which is going to be your big concern.
Yeah, that would actually.
You could just have continual flame. You don't even like a drift globe is the expensive option in that case.
Well, but a continual flame might burn oxygen, wouldn't it?
Nope.
No, it
No, they
doesn't.
do
It's
not.
magical.
They don't
Okay,
produce
Doesn't
heat
even
either.
doesn't even produce heat.
All right,
Yeah.
but then this also goes on to. I mean, this is one of those engineering picking at mythical things. How well do vampires handle pressure?
Is the ocean considered moving water for them to instantly be
Because it's-
destroyed?
It is
Because
not.
it's dirty moving water.
We've
It's not
established
pure.
at this point that it is not pure water, and so it does not count for
The
Dirty,
purpose of
vampires-
vampire
dirty,
weaknesses.
dirty water.
Less weak against the ocean, more weak against light. That's just the particular flavor we currently have. Garlic, who knows?
Yeah,
Crucifixes, they love them.
they're all Catholic.
Yeah.
Of course, now I'm just picturing a bunch of UDC Marines in diving gear with spear guns, which are essentially,
Stakes.
stakes.
Yeah.
Just being on the outside of the sub, they come down, and then it turns into that one James Bond movie where they're all having spear gun fights underwater.
I think that's what it might become eventually, but also and this is my headcanon for not my faction, so feel free to disregard. But to me, the UDDC is young enough and also insular enough that I don't think they've done much back and forth research and development on that. So, like, eventually down the road, definitely
yes,
those
no,
subs will
yeah.
have anti-boarding party stuff. But at this current point, they're not like. They're not research and develop the back and forth testing sort of.
Yeah, I mean, as we said, I mean, like this is the first iteration that they're using in combat, so they're learning as much about it, just internal problems of like, oh, this switch is in a bad position, or this has terrible ergonomics for the crew, and we need to change that going down. Like they're still working that stuff out. They haven't even begun to do the actual
Yeah, like the benefits that the UDDC have are huge landmass, lots of natural resources, a dragon's horde that they inherited, so lots of wealth, like all the benefits that the Bolsheviks had, basically.
Yes.
But then, and that's why they've taken this jump. But then, relatively, like, why doesn't Kasani have subs? Well, Kasani doesn't really need to do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure
It's-
they have
it's-
aquatic vehicles, but they're probably made by a Taniku, and they're
They-
some kind of bioengineered fish.
Yeah, they've got they'll have something that'll swallow you to take you down, but they have a whole house whose thing is like elemental engines and skyships and such. And when you're at the skyship versus sailing ship thing, like that's what Storm Chaser does. Storm Chaser is the transportation house, and they went skyships instead of submarines because they can sell skyships to more people.
I mean, and that's literally the UDC went both skyships and submarines because their neighbors that they were thinking were going to have problems with were all surface navy types, and so they just wanted to skip that entirely because they realized they were already at the disadvantage. So they're just like, well, we're going to ignore this and then start an entirely new type of navy because that makes sense to us since we're starting from scratch.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of also have in your backstory the founder being like this big artificer dude.
Yes,
So-
who's very much of that, I'm going to create a solution for this problem. And then they're kind of like, did we have that problem? It's like, too late. Here's the device.
Kind of a
And then-
Tesla kind of character.
Indeed. Teslavamir? No, I can't imagine that he was inspired by Tesla. Mm-mm.
Also, I would imagine this is again a headcanon thing. Like the UDDC artifice is a lot more like materials based and like bigger and more metals, and just because you don't need to make everything magic. You just need to make a few key parts magic, and everything
Yes.
else can be a proletariat workforce thing.
Exactly.
The Kasani need to literally import everything. So their stuff is mostly magic and then a few physical bits to put the magic onto, or biological bits or whatnot. So very as low material as possible, but heavy, very complex enchantments.
That makes sense to me.
Okay, but in all of this, I have completely forgotten that we were supposed to be talking about what we're hoping to learn from the Countess if we talk to her.
You don't need to. It's free form sandbox.
Yes, but I'm asking the group if we have any ideas.
Fortunately, I completely lost. It's been
Fun-
too long.
It's been too long.
I slept through the last section, unfortunately. I have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah.
We've scouted out the fort where they're hosting the military version of the party.
I heard the recap. That doesn't mean I understand.
All right, that's fair. If we talk to her, we might be able to find out why she's feasting on. Because it was Alvarez in the prison below, right?
Yes.
It seems like it would be unusual for her to be eating. Well, actually, probably not. That's probably a normal thing for them to do in this situation. Anyone who has bothered them even a little bit. If we don't feel we need to talk to her, we don't have to talk to her. Do we not feel that we have to talk to her?
I'm not sure what we would gain
There
from another
we
conversation with her.
Is there? Yeah, it's like what would we gain versus what are we risking?
Yeah.
Just more info on the party and who's going to be there and why they have something in the basement. But there's the potential that we're going to find out what's in the basement without talking to her because of the imp.
There's also,
Yeah.
and I really need to emphasize this, you guys haven't failed it yet, but there is no safety net for a TPK on this party if you pass yourself off as the Empress's people, and then you fuck up enough that they realize you're not.
Yes.
Like, you guys have gotten, I need to emphasize this, you guys have gotten very lucky in a thing where I have full power to just say, well, that's it, you're all gonna die. So,
I feel like what we have been doing has made a certain amount of sense. We're checking in to make sure that the parties are going to be going smoothly, and there's no reason for them to doubt that. The Empress would think this is an important enough city to spend all this resources defending. So,
your cover has, I'm not saying your cover has been blown yet, or is even like, you
In
think
danger,
it might be
yeah.
soon, but I am just, reemphasizing there is always a risk to everything that you do.
Well, I don't plan on surviving this city anyway, so it's okay.
Oh yeah, none of you should, except for maybe Bozo.
Priming, well, priming self-destruct sequence. I will take the building with.
Pretty sure we'd all sleep better if Tomb Silver was no longer.
Let's see, yeah, do we have any holy hand grenades left?
I don't think
You
we've
guys
used
haven't
any
used
of our.
anything.
Yeah, not yet. But
There's
we're
no-
also still in the planning phases.
Wait,
Yeah.
when did we get holy hand grenades?
You have a remote cockatrice and you have distilled sunlight. That's the closest that you have.
Okay, okay, so close.
Okay. There was also a third party we're gonna have to check out.
There is a third event that is happening at the Sanctuary of Verdicts, which is one of the cathedrals. Again, literally everything is optional.
Right.
So,
Yeah. But I was just trying to kind of go through and remind myself
Yeah,
what there
We-
is on the table.
yeah, we could limit ourselves to just a big assassination or a big explosion at both the parties and then call that our mission success.
At the moment, the other place is obviously much better set up for us to do shenanigans, but this place would probably be the better target because it's military in nature.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know what's at the cathedral. Well, I'm fine with going to check out the cathedral. Unless
Yeah,
anyone
let's-
else.
Let's check
Yeah.
out the cathedral. What I'm thinking so far, so okay, we're using the blood, the drink it and you blow up blood, or whatever it is, at the first place. So that one's more or less handled by our friends. This location, we can just literally send one or two people in as a suicide squad with like the distilled sunlight and maybe the cockatrice and just have two people suicide on the entire party.
Could be.
Or depending on how much damage that sunlight does, just one person.
the sunlight needs to be ingested. So,
It has to be like consumed almost immediately, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or mixed with it. You can mix it with a drink to then be consumed, so you can spike it, and that's fine. But
Right.
you can't just leave it in open air because then it'll just turn back into sunlight.
But would it be enough sunlight to kill something?
If ingested, it will kill a vampire.
Okay. Yeah, then I say we try to spike someone's drink and then blow the cockatrice up afterwards.
All right. Well, then I would suggest we go check out the cathedral.
All right. Everybody in agreement?
Good to me.
All right. And you are leaving the imp there, correct?
Oh, yeah. So how does that work, sir?
It's a
I can.
pact of the chain imp.
Yeah, I can communicate with it telepathically up to any distance as long as we're on the same
Plane of existence.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we just hope
Wait,
that we don't get hit with any kind of banish.
We better
Although
hope
I
they have
feel
nothing
like
to be able to sense fiends.
if that's happening, something worse has gone wrong. So yeah. Lev.
Yep.
What does this structure look like from a distance as we're approaching it in the city?
It is a cathedral. It has 4 towers that rise above the other houses in sort of a very Gothic basilica style. It is one of the 2 cathedrals in the city. Yeah, it's a straight up just medieval Renaissance style church.
Cool.
Is it also a courthouse if it's the sanctuary of verdicts?
Third.
Yeah, I mean it would matters of church law.
Mm.
Somebody is which I guess given that the empress is also the central figure of worship. So I guess it would be like your regular crimes might be handled by a secular or a secular law enforcement agency, but if you're like desecrating relics
Treasonous.
or treasonous, yeah, that's a good example. Or doing something that could be construed as like harming the empire as a whole, um, then you might get hauled here for judgment by the clergy and to be made an example of.
The way that I sort of envisioned it is that there are 2 main cathedrals in the city. One of them is the House of Twilight, which is associated. It's not like got a safe house for the shadows. It's like that side of the Inquisition, the wet work, ninja stuff.
Mhm.
This one is more the open authoritarian side of the Inquisition, the ones who operate, visibly and such.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because all religion here is very much tied to the Inquisition and the military.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all kind of combined together.
Yep. Yeah, the front door is opened. There are greeters there that I didn't bother putting in because tokens too big. There is a sermon occurring, and at the front there is Abbess Yasmin Gadro is giving an impassioned speech. Those of you with some knowledge of Alvarez culture know that she is giving a traditional sermon leading up to the feast of one of the saints, the saint whose feast day is coming up. It's not really much surprising or informative. It's very standard fare of the those who are blessed shall survive and prosper. Those who are not shall are destined to die and perish and be subjugated. Yada yada yada.
Are there any like pamphlets or anything around, like talking about like when services are, things like that? Basic typical church info.
Yeah, there's like a cork board on the side of like youth group is Sundays, 6:30 p.m. and like your standard. Very still, even though it's very much a strict like the Inquisition is associated with everything, they still have their Hitler Youth programs and whatnot. So
Hitler Youth programs.
yeah.
Is there anything like about a big ceremony for it at the church in this event?
Oh yeah, they're one of the main commoner celebrations for the feast day are held at the two cathedrals.
I'm thinking we just leave the cockatrice like under a bench, and then blow up the entire church.
The cockatrice petrification is temporary.
Oh, is it? I didn't realize
It's
that.
like 10 minutes.
But while they're stone, then you can smash the statues to bits. That's why I think we were using it on the one of the other parties, where the people would be more threatening.
Or you can do a very
That's also
weight-intensive
fair.
kidnapping.
A very weight-intensive kidnapping. Yes, interesting.
Well, if you want any kidnapping for your victim to weigh 500 pounds.
That's why being fat is the safest course of action when visiting other countries.
Really? Yeah, you can't fit you in a suitcase very easy or whatever they do.
But beyond that, the doors here near the entrance.
Yeah, they're open.
Oh, okay.
If a door is locked, it will be locked. As you do walk through, there are people who are like looking at you, like coming in for the service. And then I guess you go up to the floor. There is a lady at the top there, and just like a nun who looks over and is like, "Oh, can I help you, sir? This is not a public area."
That's quite all right. I'm not really part of the public.
Oh.
He's gonna move to just kind of step past her and keep going.
She's going to block your path. It's like, I'm sorry, sir, but I cannot. You are free to listen to the services downstairs, but this is the church's space up here.
Exactly. Do you think I have acquired this sort of armor in this sort of day and time?
She kind of waits for you to finish your sentence.
But he's like, how exactly do you think I've acquired this armor? This sort of armor? He plays it up like this is something that she should recognize. And I'm aware that this is not common and she wouldn't recognize it.
No, and she also doesn't really seem to care. It's like, if you wish to have permission to explore the grounds freely, you can wait until the abbess is done with her sermon and get approval from her. This is a holy place. It does not matter if you have military rank, you are still in the church's home.
I would say that my rank is with the church, though the arm of it that often wields more potent weapons. But if you would prefer for me to speak to the abbess first, I understand.
Please do.
Just gonna head back.
Oh, wait, nope. Where'd those stairs take you?
But down to the first floor.
Okay, good. I realized there were no stairs and I had to make them really quick.
Okay.
I was just gonna stay in the back and not say a word while we're here, because he's just a dead
Tim, you are walking by confessional booths that people are making confessions at, and some people are, if you try to listen in, you will get some very awkward stares.
Well, I would assume the booths are closed. They can't see who's outside, right?
But there is still, like, I wouldn't put it past Tim to try to put his ear up to one. Like,
I've already gone down the roll, like, starting to open these things up.
no, they are locked from the inside. And it's is occupied, please? And like a nun comes up.
Yes,
Like,
I need to use
Yes.
the bathroom. Please let me know when it's available.
Oh no, these are not the privies. Here, let me show. takes you to a place off
What,
the
did
map.
they come out? I got him.
No, they're
Yes,
one
take
of the
me to the
people was
bathroom.
already
Who's
outside.
escorting me?
Just some nun, and there's no bathrooms on this map, so you're gonna have to use your imagination.
All right, I gotta. How am I gonna jump this nun when she takes me to somewhere private like the boo? All right.
None of this place is private. Every room that you guys are in, there's some sort of people in there.
Yeah.
1 second, I'm conducting my plan.
Not the one I'm
Kids,
in.
what are you? Well, just because I didn't feel like putting tokens everywhere, that is again one of the more upstairs area. Yeah, it's a living area. There's nobody in there at the moment, but somebody comes up behind you and is like, "Oh, can I help you, sir? This is a private quarters. It's off limits to the public."
Oh, my apologies. How do I find my way back to the main floor?
Yeah, come. It's down here.
Thank
It
you,
just
thank
leads you literally down the stairs. Oh, there's no.
Okay.
Yeah, give me a second.
Take my happy ass all the way back to the main floor.
There we go. There's. Oh wait, were you able to go? Do those stairs work?
The ones on the top floor, yes.
Okay, they took you back down. Okay, good. I don't know.
To figure out where the bathrooms would be.
There's no bathrooms.
But where will she take me?
She'll take you. Use your imagination.
Oh, where did that take me?
You are now upstairs-ish, and again in another room where Vay's like, "Oh, this is a private area," and escorts.
All right,
you.
I'm now outside. Where should I go?
Oh, now I'm on the roof.
How'd you get on the roof?
I don't know.
I mean, that's Nash's normal environment.
Oh, okay. So the stairs were working previously, but then I drew ones that took you to the roof. Okay. Give me a second, Nash.
You broke
Save
the
me.
stairs.
The thing is, I was trying to use the stairs to get back to the main level, not the second floor. And, it didn't work out that way.
Okay, use those stairs to go down. This is a belfry, which you again would not be allowed into, but you should be able to take those stairs down. Did it put you? There you go. Yeah. All right. It keeps on bouncing you up and down. Are you purposely staying in the belfry, or are you having issues? There you go. Okay. Okay. Yeah. After like 20 minutes of sort of you guys looking around, the sermon does finish. And were any of you waiting to meet with the abbess?
Yes, I was watching the whole sermon.
Okay. Yeah. And she comes, sort of noticed you coming in the middle of it, and sort of walks up to you and is like, "You are not one of our usual congregation."
I do apologize for coming in so late.
Oh, that is fine, as long as you show yourself. The Maker is more than happy to share with you his wisdom. I am more concerned by you do not seem familiar. Are you... It's rare to get visitors, considering the current situation of the city.
Yes, we, come from a very, where's the psychic paper? She's holding herself with this air of importance, and she reaches out her hand to our dear Adrianix here.
Who hands her the paper?
You need to prompt something.
I know. We are from, I'd say, a higher power. We have come to inspect all of the festivities and make sure that everything is running smoothly. And she hands the paper over, or shows her the
It's
paper.
like-
She doesn't hand it over. It's her paper.
Ah, I am sure that the bishop should be expecting you in that case.
Well,
Let
she
me
is.
go. If you wait here, I shall go and fetch him.
Of course. Thank you.
Is this place... before she leaves.
Yeah. Yes.
I believe we should go with you. I do not suspect the bishop wishes to have conversations here in the entryway of the cathedral where anyone can be listening.
You may wait in one of the private quarters upstairs, and I will fetch the bishop for you.
Very well.
And she would say the one in the back left of the cathedral.
Okay.
So she heads off.
Wait for me.
And Regan.
No, let me up.
Where did you
Okay.
guys go?
Back
Back
left,
left.
upper staircase.
Okay, was anyone attempting to follow her?
Onyx was
Following
not.
the abyss?
Yeah.
No, I'm
You don't
still
have to. I'm
following.
just saying, was anyone attempting to?
That's not normally my job.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm chilling outside, taking a little rest.
Okay. Eventually,
Do do do.
eventually, a well-dressed older gentleman comes in and is like, "Ah, yes, the abbess said that some of the empress's eyes were here to observe the festivities. I believe you told her." Looks
Sorry,
looks.
my mouth is full of fried rice.
Oh, I'm glad that you are partaking in our holy sacraments.
It is unclear if we will be here during the day of, but we were certainly sent to ensure that all of the preparations for this service are going well, considering in these times we must put on our best face for the people to know that the Empress is always smiling upon them.
Oh, well, yes, of course, that is being handled as well. You need not worry yourself of such details.
I believe it is for us to decide with which details we worry ourselves.
Well, that is your prerogative, if that is all that you are interested in, but I'm sure that the abbess is more than able to accommodate those questions. But everything else is going according to the Empress's instructions, and we shall be perfectly capable of keeping this city within her graces.
My first question would be why exactly she believed we would be here to interview you specifically.
Sort of looks at you quizzingly. Do a deception check.
Okay.
Do an insight check.
These aren't the skills I have got.
Yep, the other people in the room are free to do insight checks as well, but not deception checks.
I think I'm canonically still with Captain Silver, so I'm just here
Yeah.
for the recording.
You notice that the way that Onyx has spoken does not make sense to the bishop's understanding of the current situation, and he is now suspicious.
It doesn't have my thing to be able to do it in, so there's my insight.
And you get the same. You're like, warning, warning. Uh, so yeah, the bishop is kind of just like, hmm. I am sure that if you are truly the Empress's eyes, then she entrusted you with as much information as you need to know. Now, if this is all, I would ask that you.
You mistake me.
Oh,
I mean more in determining how much you have told the abbess. Or did you simply tell her you were expecting company?
I told her I was not expecting company, and I did not tell her to be expecting company. You are here uninvited and unannounced.
And
Em
she
will raise an eyebrow. Should the Empress announce whenever her eyes come to check the belief of the followers? Should every move the Empress makes be run by you, dear Bishop?
He sort of looks at you and it's like, I am one who is used to hearing the words of the saints echo in my mind when the Empress's will needs to be done. I understand that might not be your position in life, but that is mine. I have given the saint his update. You can, if you were sent to confer, that is fine. But other than that, if you do not have any specific requests, then I am busy carrying out the Empress's will.
indeed.
Will
How
you run
busy
me
you
through?
must be.
May I walk with you? I have a couple questions about the sermon that you plan on telling to the congregation tomorrow.
Abbess will handle the sermon. I have been delegated a much more important duty.
Hmm.
And if you are not aware of it now, then I do not feel the need to make you aware of it.
She sort of nonchalantly, in that like way that she's seen the vampire ladies do, like that nonchalant, haughty shrug of a one who works for the Empress. She goes, very well.
Now, if there is
Out of
nothing more,
character.
yeah.
Out of character. What if I just killed this man and became this man?
I mean, it's an option.
Yeah,
We were talking about suicide missions earlier.
I will
We are
say this
hurling.
is a named guy with a red outline. I specifically said those are potential targets. He is a human. He is not a vampire. So, and you are
We are
currently.
hurtling. We
They
have to be
know that he is
prepared.
up here with you, but otherwise there are no other witnesses in the room.
But I could kill him and then be him.
There are people downstairs, and it is not necessarily a locked room. Yeah, no. If you think you can one shot him, yeah, that's.
I wouldn't
Okay,
recommend it with us in this instance.
It's possible. Let me know what you want to do.
Not bad. I don't know. I just want to use my changeling powers for something.
Yeah. You've been talking for more than a minute, so if you have the actor feat, then
I do not.
oh, that's kind of changeling 101.
I'm very sorry. It's the fried rice. It
Oh,
makes me
sure.
angry.
Ah, yes, the Empress's sacrament does that. Let it out, my child.
I have no idea what to do with this man.
Well, he's turning to leave unless you have anything else to add.
Nope.
Oh, okay. He goes. Alright, was there anybody else doing things, watching things, wanted to check out things?
At this moment, why can I not take a look at this character sheet without it being? Oh, okay. Well, this explains why I haven't had any bonuses on my rolls.
Oh, yeah,
I have an
you-
empty character sheet.
Well, yeah, because you're D20. Because you have a Beyond 20 thing.
I shouldn't have rolled it on here. I don't think it'll make any difference, but I need to go get that.
Well, you rolled a 13 raw. What's your deception
Yeah,
bonus?
I just said I don't think it's gonna change anything.
Yeah.
We have 3.5 systems between the two games.
I mean, yeah. Sorry.
Where are my characters?
We also made characters before deciding I was going to do this. Otherwise, I would have you make them in Foundry. So
I have a +7, so that deception, the 13 would have been a 20.
would have been 20. Okay, he is not as suspicious of you guys, but it's still he's just like, oh, if they don't know, then they're not supposed to know. So he wouldn't have been nearly as hostile, but he would have been a bit more. It's just like, oh, do not worry. I have spoken with the Saint. The Empress has been informed. You know, whatever you're here to do, I know that you're making your visit here out of an abundance of caution, but everything that I am dealing with is well in hand. Go and question the abbess about the pedestrian ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
Would be his sort of thing. So he is doing something different on the orders of a saint than just like the regular party festivities that the abbess is taking care of.
Yes. Hopefully at this point, Onyx would signal for Tiz to follow. Except that I have no idea where Nash is.
He is outside in the bushes taking a short rest so he can recover hit dice.
Literally.
Yeah, you could have done that on your way over to here. Like that's
Oh, well then I guess I would have done that all the way over here. Sorry.
Yes. I don't think
Yeah,
we'd
no,
have
I'm
you
with the
do
party
that
then.
like as things are going. But
Well,
yes,
I came inside to make sure the church seemed safe first.
But beyond that, I would certainly recommend our stealthiest character be the person to follow this guy.
Yep, you can do that.
okay. So, here, Nash, let me just follow the route he took. Go ahead and make a stealth roll.
I'm gonna give him advantage with what
Yep.
the fuck is it? My free thing.
Blessing of the trickster. Yeah. Okay. There is a guard, sort of a stormtrooper, posted in front of stairs that are leading down into a basement. You are able to. The bishop goes down. You realize that following immediately after would definitely spark notice, but you wait until the man is distracted by some other people coming through the other door, and you are able to sneak down.
Awesome.
But you do see that there is another guard who is vigilantly watching, and you are stealthy enough that you think that getting into his line of sight, you are going to be noticed because there's not really a place to hide.
Okay. How different are my clothes from the guy that just went by?
How different are your clothes?
Yep.
Nobody came down here. Oh, the bishop came down here. The other person just walked through the room to provide a distraction. Nobody else has gone down here besides the bishop, and the two people guarding it top and above are full stormtrooper armor.
Okay, so unlikely for me to be able to just drop one then.
Unlikely.
Highly unlikely.
And I would need clothes to make me look like the other guy to use disguise self.
Yes. Well, who has the mimic skin jacket?
That's a great question. Who does have that?
I don't think we've established that.
We have
Hey,
not
let's
used it
establish
yet.
that it's me.
Yeah.
Ideas and methods have been put into place to use it, but it has not been used.
It would either be you or Im.
I think
So
we said that we were giving it to
We
yeah.
were giving it to Im since she's the changeling,
So
but
Im
that
has-
would be when we are doing the plan and not scouting.
I mean, with my 22, could I just like nip back upstairs, go grab it, and then come back?
you would
hit a
need-
quick disguise
You
self.
could nip out. You would need to re-roll to get back down.
Damn, without advantage, I'm guessing.
No, you have a blessing.
Advantage
of the
is for an
trickster.
hour unless they put it
Yeah.
on someone else.
Okay, and
Yeah.
we don't want to just retcon that I currently have it.
You can go ahead and you would roll an intelligence check. If you get above a 20, then you can have the foresight to change who it was given to.
I would say we would hold on for a little bit because
I'm gonna nip back
because
up.
of that.
Yeah.
But just in the sense of we didn't know exactly what we would be needing before coming here. This is all exploratory.
Yes. No, definitely. There's no penalties to like nobody saw yourself was good enough that you can get in and out. Nobody's going to see you attempt.
Yeah.
So you're yeah.
Okay.
And if you want to reconvene and like meet up and swap the jacket, you can do
Yeah.
that.
And I'm just gonna ask, buddy, do you all want me to try to disguise myself as him,
As
or
the
do we think
bishop?
this is too risky? Yeah.
I thought we were gonna have Im do it since she's the changeling.
Either one of us. I can cast disguise self. She can do the changeling thing, whichever way.
Disguise self, they could just do it by looking at you and like doing an investigation check, right? Like to see through the disguise.
I think so.
I will also say the mimic skin jacket is clothing-wise a perfect disguise.
Yes.
So
Clothing wise. But if
That's
the
why
person inside of it looks nothing like the person they're expecting to see, it's kind of different.
it's very, very Hitman. You get the outfit thing.
Yeah.
But you still have a barcode on the back of your head.
However, I think the easier thing now would probably be have a little conversation with the abbess.
Okay. You can do that.
Did she come back upstairs
Yeah,
after
she-
getting...
Oh yeah, after she left the room with the bishop and is now doing other things. So you can probably find her again downstairs, just talking with nuns, and she is doing the prep work for the feast. You can tell.
Right.
Ah, yes. Is there something else I can help you with?
We came in to pay our respects to the bishop, but we were very curious what exactly it is you have planned for the public festivities.
Oh, well, and then she begins to. I don't know if have Onyx do a history check.
Oh man.
This isn't. Yeah, this.
This one is definitely going to be normal. Wait, what? Virtual tabletop not found? Why is this doing this to me? I had it working before. Okay, well, I can just do a d20 on here because it is a flat d20.
Oh.
Yep, he has no idea.
It describes.
Well, tis,
oh,
there you go.
Yeah, she
I'm
is
in the room.
basically. Yeah, she is basically just describing the Feast Saint Day. Like, it is the most by-the-book rote. Like, there is nothing surprising about it. It is open to the public. They're having, they're staggering multiple ceremonies throughout the day, so everybody has a chance to go to a cathedral and do the worshiping. They're going to be holding them all day. There's going to be free food given out, but not like a big lavish party, just like more people can come by and partake
Breads
in
and
food.
soups and
Yeah, like it
The
is.
church spaghetti dinner.
Yeah,
exactly. It's
it
the
is
most simple classic of all time.
Yeah, it is the feast day for people who usually don't have enough to eat for peasants, and especially in this description, the only sort of deviance is that she is more worried about the status of supplies and is like, oh, and yes, and if you are the Empress's eyes, if you could please, I hear that the noble houses are hoarding some of the food that they do not wish to share with the populace. I believe that this is going to do poorly for the city's morale. If you could convince them to be more generous in their donations this year, we would
I
greatly
like her.
appreciate it.
I am definitely going to drop by a couple nobles' houses while we're in town and tell them the church said they're good on all donations. They don't need any more.
Certainly can.
Um,
Like, oh, that's weird. The church always wants more. Okay, good. Honey, don't drop off that turkey. We'll save it for ourselves. Give it to the dogs.
certainly, discussions can be had. It sounds as though you are attempting to make sure that this is all done like every other year, and to simply ignore the irregularities.
It is our duty to make sure that the spiritual lives of the population is as orderly and uninterrupted as possible. Those were the bishop's orders from the saints themselves.
That's fair. And how has the bishop been lately? He is under the watchful eye of the saints now more than ever. Some do not take to this sort of observation too keenly.
He has been busy yet dutiful, I can assure you.
He hasn't seemed any different than usual.
So what kind of check would you like to do?
With that one, just kind of insight. I mean, this is an inquisitor. I feel like that sort of question would not be unusual. He's just
Yeah.
here to be like, yeah, I'm making sure that this is all to
Yeah,
snuff.
she's like, oh no, he has been very busy. I do believe that the strain of his duties might be getting to him, but hopefully this whole fiasco is wrapped up quickly and we can go back to the way that things were before all this nonsense with the Cartier family.
Excellent. And I'm sure someone as dutiful as yourself takes the time to pray with him all the more regularly these days.
Looks and it's like we have our usual clergy services that we hold for ourselves as well. Those have been going on just as normal. The bishop has not seen fit to need to miss them for any of his duties.
I'm heartened to hear that. This all sounds very, very adequate.
I am glad to hear that. Now, if you don't mind, I am quite busy making sure that the feast goes as the Empress's, to the Empress's expectations. Please let me know if you need anything else, but I must be about my duties.
I certainly will.
He goes and starts directing a bunch of nuns who are, carrying soup stock and whatnot.
Hmm. 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 All right. Well, we have some more information. Obviously, something is going on with these sarcophagi. Now, I don't remember there being one under the first place.
No. The first
So
place was
this is
also a personal residence, not like.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. But there's at least two, is what I'm saying.
You've seen one.
Yes, right. We've seen one, but there's heavily implications that there's another one here, and we got to figure out how to get down below. But the imp is at the other one.
No. And the imp hasn't given any feedback or anything, so.
With the stealth check from Tiz from earlier, checking out that room below, I get the impression that there's only the one way into it.
Bet he saw it, yes, and it is a undisguised staircase.
There may, of course, always be another way into the sewers, as often there is.
And mortals, stormtroopers are not mortals.
No. Stormtroopers are vampires.
Yeah. And it's a one-time use on that. I'm taking a look at our various items and
Yeah,
trying
please.
to think about.
Yep. While he looks at that, did anybody else want to inspect or do anything?
No, I'm gonna stay near
I'm good.
M. If I go around and start inspecting stuff, I have to be an undead construct defending myself. That won't be well for the stealthy part of this.
Fair. Is Mr. Silver doing anything besides after he leaves the restroom?
I am going to fuck it. I'm gonna spy on these confessionals.
Okay, how so?
It's a good question.
Like, there's people outside of them, not necessarily making sure people don't specifically do that, but would likely notice if you tried.
Let's see here. Who would fit in? Let's see here.
You're just looking on IMDb for Tim Curry's various roles, aren't you?
I mean, that may, that might be the right
You know
course of
what?
action
Let's see
here.
here. When I was running around, where the fuck am I? Where's Foundry? There it is. So these confessionals have like windows to the outside here.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm gonna like go over here to this bush,
All
and
right.
I'm gonna meld into the wall, and I think I can hear with disadvantage.
We'll do a
So
stealth check
I
to
wanna
get a
meld into the stone,
Oh my
and I
god.
wanna listen.
do a stealth check to make sure you are not noticed.
Melding into the wall.
Skulking around the bushes outside the cathedral.
The scariest thing you could ever
Let's
find
see here.
Tim Curry skulking around the church.
Is my rogue friend done stealthing around? I'll wait until he's done. I think.
You can certainly
Yeah,
wait.
Tiz
Yeah,
is
I'm good.
not. Yeah.
All right, I shall blessing of the trickster myself. I guess I could always, you know what? I think, sure. Where is it? Spells. Actually, wait. They're both concentration, aren't they? No, this is a ritual. Okay. We'll just do this. Oh, let's see here. Up to an hour. Self. It just says your companions. I don't know. I always thought spell pass without trace just seems to be apparently limitless to the amount of people that we cast on.
Yeah, within 30 feet of you, that's really the only limit.
All right, everybody, group huddle. Here you go. I'm going to go do
But
this.
they have to stay within 30 feet of you for it to continue to work. So
Oh, whatever. I'll just do
It
it on
is-
myself.
you
we won't
have
do a group
Cloak of
huddle then.
Shadows. You know how this mechanic works.
Cloak of Shadows. What's that have to do with anything?
The rogue, not Cloak of Shadows, the group stealth thing. What is that? What is that called?
An ability that didn't need to be added. Anyways,
Okay.
I've never found that thing entertaining to use.
No, it's I don't disagree.
Alrighty.
Okay, so do a stealth check.
So, the weird thing about Blessing of the Trickster is it's a concentration, which is, I guess, just stops you from doing it all the time. Oh, wait. Wait. Oh, this one's not concentration. I can do both then. Alright.
Invoke Duplicity, I think, is concentration, but yeah.
Yeah, it's my illusion.
And plus 10 because pass without
Yep,
trace.
so
20. Yeah,
22.
you're fine. Yeah, you sneak into the bushes. You meld with
I guess,
stone.
I guess before I meld in the stone, I'll test out first and see if I can hear anything gossip from where I am.
No.
Alright, now I'm gonna meld in this stone. I'm gonna cast Nulseer. I guess, do I have 10 minutes? I don't know. I think people are confessing, so I'm just gonna cast it.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 1/3 left. 3 levels left, so I could be here for a while, really. So I guess I'll just try to catch what I can. And okay, perception
Yeah,
disadvantage.
perception disadvantage. All right. Yeah, the walls are thick enough for you to hide within, but otherwise not very thick. So you do hear there's somebody in the confessional, and they're just like, I have been feeling despondent. I fear for my family that we have not heard from in Kaime and Villaplanche. There are soldiers at the gates. I cannot feed. I worry about feeding my family if the siege goes on. There's, it's like, oh, do not worry. The Empress will guide us through this hard patch. There's another set of voices as you sort of scoot through the wall, I guess, to the next confessional. It's just like, I don't understand how the Empress could allow this to happen to one of her great towns. It's my faith is wavering. I do not believe we will be able to withstand this siege with these foul pagans and heathens at the gates. No, no, don't. Like, is regular common people that are very much confessing that they feel afraid and worried that this is going to all end poorly. As people come and go, most of them are citizens. A few of them are soldiers. Are like, no, I have heard the stories of what they did to the saints. They have cut off their wings and hung them upon a banner. I fear, I will of course stand where the Empress needs me to stand, but I fear that I may not survive the fight. This very negative sentiment from the population. One guy like cheated on his wife too. I guess, I don't know.
Oh, I want to know where he's gone.
He's
This
a
might lead
baker.
somewhere.
He's a baker.
Do I catch a name?
Yeah, Keith Baker. I don't know.
All right, I exit the stone and I go to intercept him.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
I need to know about this man.
All right. Oh,
His
good
wife
day.
might be a vampire. This
Good-
might be
good
the
day to
perfect
you, sir.
opportunity.
Oh, wow! You, what teeth you have?
So I'm gonna stay outside in the bushes. I'm gonna wait until a man that looks like a baker leaves.
Yeah, you catch him on the street. Sure, he's covered in flour.
Why?
I follow him to his bakery.
It is a bakery with a like living rooms on the second story. His wife is rather homely looking and doesn't seem to really enjoy his company. They have 3 kids. He makes some
I
bread. He preps the dough for the following morning, has dinner, and goes to sleep.
Food. What do we have in our thing here? All right, I sneak around his little bakery.
Okay.
It's like, and I look through his, I don't know, his accounting. I don't know. Does he serve bread to any of the parties?
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
All right, I'm not good at these. Let's go.
Oh my
Shocking.
God.
You also have the skull
go?
with you, so
Oh no.
Oh
I
wait,
don't have-
I pull it out of my pocket. It's like, look, we might be able to poison these or something. And I bring out
Poison
the
the
skull.
bread? That's a great idea.
Yes, this is the best plan I've had since.
you.
I love killing random civilians.
So you look through and you find a few things. One, because of the shortage of like foodstuffs, he's been cutting his flour with sawdust.
Oh my God.
I mean,
Just like on the
you and
ships.
I both know that was an issue.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so that's not great. And he is also going to be making deliveries to the sanctuary of verdicts. Like some of his bread is going to be served to the general population.
This bread
Now,
tastes like wood
what
shop.
can we put a potion, a fireball into the dough, and blow up a lot of people? I don't think I'm deceiving.
In order to spread it that thin, there'd be a lot of very small explosions. You would mostly give people
Yeah,
Just be a
but
lot
I
of
mean, when you
flatulence.
eat some bread, how big of an explosion do you need to die?
Yeah, no. It would definitely rupture some people's stomachs.
Oh no.
I
But-
guess it wouldn't kill a vampire.
The
Would
worst
kill
it
a
would do
vampire.
is it
Vampires
wouldn't
be
kill.
eating it.
It would
It
kill.
wouldn't-
It would kill probably a lot of families.
It would kill a lot of people, and by
But you
God,
know,
it would
you
be
know,
the
in the middle of a
vampire
siege,
down on that
you
baker.
know what's gonna cause a panic when the bread kills you.
Like this is also that's
That's
Am
that's
I
actually
this
fair.
not
evil?
that's not a bad point.
Am I
I'm-
this
It's
evil? One
incredibly
second.
evil, but it's not a bad point.
What's
Wait.
my
I
alignment?
hate
Wait,
I
because
can't be
the
a bozo. I like
potion of
logic.
delayed fireball
player.
might kill a lot of people in that sense. But the Ease Instant Cola is already designed for this. How much food
Oh,
poisoning
shit.
can we give a city?
E's instant coli doesn't kill them, but it will make life very uncomfortable for
That
them.
might be
I-
better.
okay.
That might be better.
I'm
Because
just
they're
saying in the
already
sense of,
starving, and if they're going out both ends.
yes.
Great.
Think about dehydration has probably killed more people in history than anything else. And if you
No.
are severely
Yeah.
dehydrated in a time with low supplies,
it could also make them adversely react and get rid of all of their food, or at least all of their bread and stuff, or all their flour, and that could be a lot more than just
Like he
that you
has.
expect them with. I like that idea. Can we do both?
There is the germ
Can
of a
we
very
make
good
them
idea
poop
here.
till they explode?
The only
Oh,
problem.
the germ of a very good idea in the bread.
The only problem is I'll feel extremely guilty when the inspectors discover where the bread came from and execute this cute couple of people that hate each other.
He
that's
should
what's gonna
cut
make you
his
feel
shit with-
guilty. Not
This is what he
essentially
gets for
mass
cutting
murder.
his shit with sawdust.
Well, when I murder a bunch of people with a potion delayed fireball, that's on me. But when other people die because of it, now that's guilty. Anyways,
You don't care about murder, just felony murder.
well, let's see here. I might. We can't even tell him to leave.
Kill someone. It's murder, never manslaughter.
Let's see. I can't tell them or they'll give it away. But maybe I can come back to them later and I'll be
Oh,
like, we need to
manslaughter without
smuggle this couple out of here.
Why? Why?
I guess we could always not smuggle them out of here, as long as they don't execute the kids, I suppose. And the cheated on wife, and I guess the baker. I don't know. He just cheated. That's all he did.
The one thing I would say is that hopefully we do our job so well and create so much panic and chaos that tracking this down is the least of their worries. And beyond that, I mean, who's to say how well they'll track down one source in a city where food is obviously already a problem?
This is a
I-
good point. We need to poison multiple food sources.
I
Let's
I
get
will
to it.
also say the E's instant coli, because it is touch activated. You can add it to the starter, but as soon as he starts working it, he will start crapping himself. So that
This doesn't
probably
work.
won't make its way to be bread.
Damn it! Ruining our ideas.
Yeah.
All right, delay
Poison the
fireball then.
water supply.
Delay fireball then. Blow up some stomachs.
You can poison the wells with the E's instant coli. That's something you could do too. Like,
Hmm.
there's options for terrorism
Okay.
here.
So, in all reality, why not both? Poison the water supply, make the bread explosive.
Is there a better place that you could, like a
hold on.
central granary that you could affect somehow?
That is a question, but the other one is the fortress, the military fort, has its own independent water supply, correct?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. There's a well down there.
But
Spiking that could debiltate the staff there.
you could spike that, but if you
I
spike
can't remember if that
populace,
well water was like a
you
backup
could-
source or not.
if you spike the populace, it could turn them more easily against the empire, which would make it easier for us to possibly enter, get other things in. Because look at the long run of what else we want to do beyond just this mission. It'll be a
Before I
lot
narrow this
easier
down,
to have the whole populace on our side. Because we had said like you could basically like we could spike this water supply, spike the bread or whatever, and then we send food over to the populace. They open the doors for us. That could ease the student revolt,
Yeah.
all of that.
The main thing I know for sure is Onyx is going to want to use the engineering core to reinforce the tunnel that has already been dug under the walls. That's just the smuggler's tunnel. Because the fact that there's any kind of tunnel is already great. But we were gonna, I believe we were planning on blowing up that one establishment, and that would hide the fact that there is a tunnel. And so then we could use that later.
It would. It could hide the fact. It could also draw attention to that place, and when they work through the rubble, find that there is a tunnel. Like that's.
Well, that depends entirely on how it's all established. Whereas I'm trying to think now of how to collapse it ahead of time so that it wouldn't be discovered later.
Yeah. Like, that is not a guarantee. That is a roll situation, but yeah.
Yes, but anyway, okay. I'm just thinking aloud of all the things now that we're thinking of the bread and the E. coli and water supplies and all of this stuff. The only thing I know for sure here is we want to find out what's downstairs and how it's connected to that other sarcophagus. Yes?
Yep.
How much E's instant coli is this? Is it like a vial?
You got a vial, yeah.
Hmm.
The
Yeah, I don't
potency
think I can.
is
I don't think I
such-
can poison a whole silo.
You couldn't do a whole silo. You could do like a batch of starter, but that would again, as soon as the guy touches it, like you'd ruin his business and him, but you wouldn't like. It wouldn't
Yeah, I
get
don't
to
think
the
this
point
guy's
where
gonna
people
make
can
enough
eat it.
bread to like.
You could put it in a well, and that would probably foul up the well for a bit, but it would dissipate over time.
But
Hmm.
with this being a siege, we only need it to be a bit.
Yeah.
It dissipates over time, but it's water. It's gonna have a quick effect.
Yeah, I think
There's
it's better to
also
poison the water at the party because people are gonna want to drink water at a party, obviously. So,
Yeah.
probably, unless there's alcohol, maybe we can find the brewer and we can poison his stuff.
That's
there were wine barrels and foodstuffs at the fort.
Oh,
yeah.
that's right.
You guys
yeah,
found those.
that was a lot though.
Yeah,
hard to
it
poison
was a
all that.
lot. You have enough to do one barrel, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Stuff to think about. But let's focus now on sneaking down here. Do we want to use the changeling? Are we sending in Tiz? Are we waiting for him to come back, waiting for another time of day?
I would say if we use M in this regard, she can just take the bishop's clothes and change shape to look like it, and then we can give his the mimic skin jacket for a disguised self. We can do basically like two shape changes in a way to double our benefits.
Hmm.
Have two bishops.
But
They'll
we
never see
just
it coming.
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
the
just like
dynamic twin
with
bishops.
them, I feel we also need to give them like something like they need to have another item along with them to be able to be like an escape plan.
Here is another question I have. Is there anything that is preventing us from finding some nearby relatively secure location that we don't mind burning? Maybe literally, maybe just figuratively. Having the bishop meet us there, telling him, help him with using the psychic paper that we need to speak to him alone due to sensitive material, and then just torture him and interrogate him off site.
I will say that you got the impression that you don't think you would need something bigger than just the paper to convince the bishop, because you got the 20 on the deception instead of the 13.
Right.
So he's not automatically suspicious of you, but you did not give him the impression that he needs to necessarily care about what you're doing. The church is in a different hierarchy than the military when it comes to stuff like the Empress's eyes. He does not think that you outrank him.
Fair.
Yeah. Like Elijah, no sway with the church. None.
He is not intimidated or impressed in the same way that the military people were. So I'm not saying you can't, but that would be hard and that would be risky, because the more you do, the more suspicious he's liable to get.
Yeah. But I feel like kidnapping and interrogating him would be easier than doing it in the military fort.
It's up to you. Like, I would need a lot more specifics to give
Yes.
you an over-under on that.
This isn't on you. I'm saying this aloud as I'm working through the thought process.
Yeah, I will say that you have kept an eye on sort of the room where he went down to, and he has not come up while you guys have been having this discussion. So you're pretty sure that he's going to be down there for a while.
Personally, I'd just say we go get a cannon, or roll a thing of gunpowder up against the outside of the building, just blow the entire thing.
Yeah, we just Kaime this again.
And
See
Tis just
how-
says that with a smile.
Okay, but beyond that,
Who needs to know what he's doing down there if
Um,
he's pieces, you know?
why don't we get the imp? Just by on what's happening down there.
You're a swamp elf. Why did I think that you were one of the rebel hunters?
Nope, swamp elf.
Okay, you
It's
you
just-
wouldn't be as knowledgeable about the ceremony, but that's not like it's irrelevant. Somebody would have been. So yeah.
Hey, I'm a well-traveled swamp elf.
Yeah, no, you could you know enough about it, but it's like you're whatever. There was
I went
no
all the way
relevant
from one
information.
swamp to the edge of the swamp to the edge of the other swamp and then home. I was
Yep.
well-traveled in the swamps.
I have seen both eastern possums and western possums.
I gotta say, these
That, my
fucking Eastern
friend,
possums are
is
fucked
a
up.
southern moonshine possum.
Oh, Christ.
Christ ain't here when possums are involved.
So what are we doing? What are we doing?
Going crazy.
I
How
was
many
saying,
days do we have until the parties?
I think you have 3.
I think we should get the imp to send them downstairs here to scout that out a bit, and then it'll also give us time to run the patch that Thur found.
Let's do it.
What patch that Thur found? Oh, that one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that we can
Okay.
get more information and then use that to figure out what we're doing.
Okay. So you're pulling Thur. You're going to be following this suggestion and pulling your imp from the room he's currently in.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Do you need me to roll for him to stealth out, or?
He's an invisible spider, and you rolled pretty well last time, so I'm going to say that covers getting out as well.
Okay.
I'm going to put you.
So now is it that he can cast invisibility on himself, and
He
he's a
can-
spider?
The imp
Imp.
has an ability to just become invisible. It's not a spell. It's not. It's just an action that he can do because he's a magical creature.
Well, that's very nifty for this situation, especially.
That's why I did a Pact of the Chain Warlock. All right, so there's your. I put your imp token on there, Thur. You can go down the stairs. Go ahead and do another
Oh, I can't
stealth
see,
check.
because
What do you
I'm
mean?
somewhere else.
Oh.
Thank you. Yeah, let's just use me.
Yeah, just use you.
Okay, so another stealth check from him.
Yep.
Alright, he has advantage because he's invisible.
Yeah.
Good thing he did. There we go. Alright.
Yep. Roll good enough for this guy as well.
Okay.
It's a large wine cellar.
Just crawling along the ceiling. Crawling along the ceiling. Let's see. Crawling invisibly along the ceiling. Alright.
And the bishop is sort of conducting a ceremony in the middle of this room, and there is a more well-dressed stormtrooper standing above him, just like keeping watch and such as he does this ritual.
I'm seeing Bozo and Ilm here. Are they there, or is that
Nope,
a glitch?
no, that is a
Okay.
glitch.
Okay, is there something specific that he's saying?
Go ahead and what languages do you or the imp speak?
Imp speaks Common and Infernal. I speak Abyssal and Common.
No, you do not understand the language, but he is chanting.
Okay. I guess I'll report back to the group what's happening down here via my telepathic link.
What is happening down there? Because we can't see it.
He's doing some kind of ritual. There's a fancy stormtrooper down there, maybe some kind of officer. I see some regular human soldiers as well.
Those
And
are
then
statues.
those must be. So I'm seeing.
No. The only people down there are the bishop and the major. The other people are all on the first floor.
I see.
Ooh, the bishop.
Yeah, it's the bishop and the major. Did somebody meet this major?
No, this
Okay.
is the first time any of you have seen him.
Okay, so we don't know who he is necessarily.
I'd like to revisit my gunpowder idea.
Have you described the rest of the room, Thur? Because I stopped you at the soldiers bit.
Yeah, so there's 4 statues and a total of 7 coffins, it appears. Of which 3 of them have like the like statue, like the like laying statue of the person, and it appears to be some kind of knight on all 3. 2 of them have like standard coffin tops with something.
Those, I will tell you now, those details are not relevant.
Okay, so there's 6 others. There's a total of 7 coffins, 1 vampire officer, and the bishop.
Tiz was rolling Arcana for what purpose?
To see if I know anything about any kind of thing about what that kind of ceremony could be about. Involving coffins, magic chanting, etc., etc.
Thur, go ahead and roll just an intelligence check to try and like repeat some of the words and some of the stuff, just to see how well this Arcana can possibly be. So you were able to repeat enough, and Tiz is able to sort of ascertain enough that the language being spoken is Celestial. Other than that, this is a Alvarez ceremony in Celestial with a bunch of coffins. This is almost certainly some weird vampire shit. You do not have any further cultural context beyond that. Like, there is definitely, yeah. It's really, you don't know much more than you can infer from that.
Okay.
If I have Doug look
go ahead.
around at the coffins, do they look? Is there any sign of like how much they're used, like open and closed?
Do an investigation.
Okay. You want me to roll that for my imp or for me?
Whose eyes are you looking through?
Well, the imp is the one who's looking, so.
Well, yeah, but your character is the one. You
Yeah.
can do whichever one you'd like.
Okay.
So you can tell that these coffins are a lot less ornate than the sarcophagi, are a lot less ornate than the one beneath the fort. Other than that, there's not like, they're old. They don't look like they have a lot of very visible signs of really much else. Like, they're just more plain stone sarcophagi. They all of them do have sort of like the knight imagery on the top of them, but otherwise that's like the only decoration they have.
Okay.
Not to interrupt, but what were they saying?
You know it was Celestial. You don't know what they were saying in Celestial.
I speak Celestial.
Oh, you speak Celestial?
You sent us into a campaign with holy angels. Celestial's
Okay,
the
sorry.
only language
Sorry,
I
Is that swamp? He's that swamp elf that took that elective there.
I expected when I said they're speaking Celestial, I expected an immediate from anybody. I speak Celestial.
Yeah, I got you.
They did not. You can tell that it is Celestial. It's a few snippets. It's like Blood of the Maker, but they're not. The person reciting it to you is not smart enough to hear and parrot verbatim a language they do not know.
It's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that is a much harder thing than I'm going to give you for a 12.
Now, but Blood of the Maker.
That's not.
This sounds.
Yeah.
This sounds, from my Arcana, like me just drawing conclusions here that this could be one of the transformation ceremony thingamajigs.
I will say that that is a conclusion you may draw if you would like, but you also got high enough on Arcana and are familiar enough with Alvarez stuff to know that that is a very common phrase that they like to throw around.
Oh well, that's stupid.
So it could be like 2 and 2 could make 4, could make 2 and 2. Like it's
My guess.
you do
Fair.
not roll well enough to be certain.
My guess is that this is some kind of cold storage for reservists.
You think reservists are getting this much focus and attention?
If they're vampire spawn, or even higher potentially.
I would imagine they'd have to be fairly high to be warranting this. I mean, the bishop was very dismissive, and it's clear that he believes he is doing something super duper important.
Almost sounds like he's doing something that's above the abyss.
Well,
I mean,
it definitely sounds
The
like
bishop,
I mean,
the
yes.
bishop is above the abyss.
Yeah.
So
That's my fault.
yeah. This is like because Bozo would know this because it's trivia stuff. Each cathedral has an abbess. The bishop is for the city.
Ah, yes, cool. So we kill him and we put our hotter water.
It's simple. You kill the bishop. You take the queen. Checkmate.
All fall like a house of cards.
Yeah. So we kill the bishop. We kill both the countesses and the 2 naval guys, and we're done. That's it. Easy.
Okay, real quick,
Yeah. Let's do it real quick.
how difficult do we think it would be to convince the abbess that in these times the empress has sent a special wine for the people that will protect the true of heart and strike down the non-believer, and that's the wine that we spike with the E. coli?
Oh, I
I
thought you wanted to
mean,
make them explode.
Well,
if
we need the
that's
fireball potion for the.
Well, that's
The
what I
first
mean. I'm
one.
just this is me just thinking aloud right now. We have
So-
many options.
yeah, it is. I would say it would be a harder thing to convince somebody who has studied scripture that there is some random religious bullshit than to convince a parishioner of that. Like, if it's one of those things where it's like, if such a thing existed, there would probably be
References.
some references to it in a mythology.
Hmm.
But you do not know enough about Alvarez religion to know
That's
if there
for
is
sure.
something you can crib off. You can make a religion check if you want to try.
Why are you making me do these things?
I said you can. I don't say do. I'm saying you can.
If we're gonna E. coli a random group, I'd say let's deliver a couple casks of beer to the guards somewhere.
Ease instant coli can do 1 cask, not many.
1 cask. That'll wipe out most of a barrack.
It's also not like it's not killing them. It is
No.
Yeah, it is basically a way to get them to go. It is a hitman distraction to get them to go to the bathroom for a while, not a we will die because of dehydration because of this.
Right.
I mean, can't we just like be like Hitman and kill people with a soda can?
Yeah, sure.
Get
Find
the
so
brief
find
save.
soda
I
can.
love that about that game so much. You throw a soda can so hard, it knocks them out.
Well, it knocks them out. It doesn't kill them. You still
Yeah,
need
and
to
you
kill
just walk
them.
over there and you fucking massage their neck to death.
What about that homing briefcase he would throw? Did that just knock people out, or did that kill them?
That knocked people out.
I always remember that ridiculous thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just thinking. So I still believe we need to get down there and figure out what's going on with this guy. But considering there is a stormtrooper guarding the door and an officer standing watch over the main set of stuff. The bishop is human. He's human, baseline human, right?
Yep.
He has to sleep at some point.
Yeah.
He can't do this permanently.
Yeah, that would be a conclusion you can draw.
I would like to set about staking out the various rooms to try and find out where he sleeps.
Okay.
I will pass along the information about that room I was in up in the tower because that seemed really fancy.
How do I get to this place?
You would be all right. So in order to do that stakeout, you would definitely have to do like the next, like, wait overnight for stuff.
Well, no, I mean, right now we can just investigate. I mean, before it being overnight, we can investigate the cathedral while we're here. Yes.
Yes, but they're also like not letting you into the upper rooms.
Well,
Like every
they
time
weren't earlier before we announced ourselves to the abbess, and she would probably have passed on word by now that we are here on work.
but not for like, oh yes, let them into any of the private rooms possible. It's like, oh yeah, if they have any questions about the ceremony or what we're feeding or whatnot, that's fine. But if you try and go up to the personal rooms, they're just like, why are you here? It would be suspicious. You do not have free reign. You could very easily stealthing find the nicest room in the cathedral and assume it's the bishop's room, because that's not a hard thing to deduce, and you have somebody who could probably, you could send the imp to do it. That's not a hard thing. You could figure that out.
Yes. I just wish I had better stealth. Silver. Tim Silver.
Buddy. Oh yeah.
Tim is
Oh, that's
gone
right.
until
He's
the evening.
gone. God damn
He
it.
is
He
doing
went
what
off.
you're thinking, but for a random baker.
God damn it.
We have a walkie-talkie. You'll have to get it to me.
Funnily enough, you do have the skull. Oh, you guys don't get this information until tomorrow morning about the ceremony, because the skull is with Tim and the imp is in the basement.
Yeah, no. Damn it,
That
Tim.
worked out great. Well, better make the best of this moment here. What else is in the bakery?
The one thing I could say is with that, then I guess Onyx would be doing more of a stakeout to watch this place as opposed to a more active role, since he won't be able to get the other information until later. Anyway, so I will be avoiding active stealth checks for right now and doing passive stealth with Tiz and staking the place out.
Okay, so you're staking it out like overnight?
Yes. Kind of take a look at the habits. And I don't mean the nuns.
Okay. Go ahead, and everybody who's doing that, or of the people who's doing that, one make a perception check with advantage, because other people would be helping you. Who's the best at that?
I only have +3, so whoever's got better than that. Wow.
It's a cathedral. There's nuns going about their duties. There's nothing untowards or mysterious. The bishop eventually leaves the basement and goes back up to the nice room in the cathedral. The guards do not move from their posts or need changing out the entire time. So the vampires are there because they don't need to keep watch. Or they don't need to take breaks or, rotate out.
It's vampires, no eyes.
Yeah. The vampires are just perpetually keeping watch here.
Alright.
They're like those guys at the top of the tower in Samurai Jack. They've got big eye ears, but they're blind.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Big bad ears.
Yeah.
Jackal ears.
But he does take a break and he rests at night.
I'm surprised it's not more like a bigger vampire thing. I was like, my vampire is blind, but he's got big ears.
Because
Like-
that would look lame, and the people who really like vampires want to look brooding and hot.
Yeah, but they want them to be bats also.
I mean,
I don't think that's what they want. I think what you want from them is different from what people
That
want
should have
from
been Batman's superpower. He should have been like
Team
blind.
Edward. That's Daredevil.
Yeah, but Batman should have been blind because he was Batman.
This is
If
immediately
you were to
making
tell
me
me there are
think.
two superheroes, one of them, yeah.
Well,
Yes,
he's
that
blind.
entire
He's got
thing.
big buck teeth. He clicks them together, and he like just imagine this guy like
Clicks his buck teeth together.
Oh.
How do you think
No.
teeth work?
he's doing a co-location. He's got to make the little
That's what.
click.
Oh yes, if Tim Curry played Daredevil,
No, he's playing
Goodness.
Batman.
I'm going to go to
My
a white
goodness.
place not corrupted by capitalism. Church. Oh boy.
Anyways, let's wrap up the bakery thing so we can get on.
Yeah, there's nothing of interest besides he's got a starter and he's going to be providing some of the bread for the feast day.
Maybe there's a better way to food poison, like the old-fashioned way. Like, how do you food poison normally? Oh, chicken eggs or something. Let's see here. I look for a
No.
chicken somewhere.
If you're
Let's
looking
put
at
some salmonella in this shit.
back in the day, you would take some sort of rotting animal and dump it in the well. I mean, we
Or
can just do
night
that.
soil. Or night soil.
soil. Yes.
Which is shit.
Yes.
In the
All of these
great
things
I'm
can
not
be
gonna
done
drop
with-
the deuce in the bread here, so I'm gonna look. I'm just
In
gonna
the
put some
great
egg.
words of a Tic Tac audio, why don't we just kill all these people?
All right, I'm gonna look for a
That's
chicken
where
egg
I'm at.
somewhere, and I'm gonna get some salmonella in this bitch.
So
Yeah,
the reason
you wouldn't know what salmonella is. At
it's
this
also
point.
the reason why salmonella is a big part of eggs is because of factory farming, which doesn't
Yes.
currently exist.
Correct.
All right, I need an alternative. Fuck. How does germ theory work?
I am unsure if
It's
we
just a
are
theory.
aware of germs at all. We probably don't even know what
I'm
cells
pretty
are.
sure as a society with subs can figure out how germs work.
I wish I didn't know what cell is.
Wait. Maybe I have a blood disease. Do I have AIDS?
What?
Gonna say no.
Damn it, that doesn't
I'm
work.
gonna say yes.
I'm gonna say no.
Oh fuck, man, this would be a great moment to be like, I have a terrible disease.
You do. It's called scurvy. It's not transmissible.
God damn it.
Give it to him.
Oh, fuck,
All
man.
right.
I'm gonna find a prostitute. There's gotta be something
How
Not
about
that
me.
be interpreted is
Gosh.
interesting.
It's 11:10, y'all. I'm sleeping.
This is one of those Mayor Adam West rolling into nuclear sewage to get superpowers just gets leukemia.
Yeah.
Oh, rip.
Oh, do you got any ideas?
No.
No, but beyond that,
Skull is
I-
sir.
I was just gonna say, I still think at the moment we need to kidnap this guy and torture him for information. I
Yeah.
might be a
It'd be
bit
fun.
focused on that, but I swear it's the right thing to do.
Hey, I mean, we've got 3 days until the party. Let's do that until party day, and then go murder
How
people at
long-
parties.
Okay, so how long does the cockatrice last?
10
10
minutes.
minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. There's no good. The problem is, like, there's no good way to smuggle him out of this building.
No.
Right?
Oh, or we could just mass murder the entire building minus him.
Well,
That's
I'm not
problematic.
worried about the normal people. I'm worried about the stormtroopers and all of the fuss and the ruckus that this
Well, yeah,
would
but-
no doubt cause.
Cockatrice has a 100 feet radius, right? We just stone the entire building.
trigger- No. It's activated within 100 feet. It's a 10-foot.
Ah.
Everything around it
Yeah, that's-
stone.
That's a
Ash
bit
is
of a
just
critical.
assuming I gave you guys a nuke for some reason. And
My
not just,
God
not just
name.
a
He
stun
wants one,
grenade.
okay?
It's
He wants a nuke.
100. It's
Do we
It is-
know if the bishop lives a
when
sinner's
activated
life?
within 100 feet, 10-foot radius. So everything within 10 feet of the location, boom, stone.
You do not have any personal information on the bishop, no.
Well, all I want to say is I could disguise self. I could be a prostitute, and I could go seduce him, and then we could capture him.
I do not want to hear your Tim Curry
I-
prostitute impression.
Why would we send Tim Curry and not a changeling for this task?
Because I can disguise self. I can be a hot
Spy.
lady. Isn't like that's Tim Curry's thing is drag? I forget.
Frankenfurter, yes. No, we're
Dear
aware of
Frankenfurter,
Rocky Horror
please
Picture
God,
Show.
no. Anyway, okay, so we
You-
want
Maybe he wants that type of flavor, you know? Anyway,
I mean, he is
Beyond any
Catholic.
of that,
What is the reason we gave for being here?
we haven't.
We
But you're
did. We used the
you did the
psychic
whole.
paper.
Well,
We
I
yeah,
mean,
we
in the
are the
sense of
Empress. The
we're the
same.
Empress's eyes. We haven't said what we're here for specifically. We just have said we're her eyes, and everyone is making their own assumptions as to why we are here.
Yeah.
Unless I'm
I don't know.
mistaken.
So
The problem is like we could try to persuade him out of here, but he's already suspicious.
Not too suspicious since my +7 in deception changed things a bit,
Yeah.
but like he feels that we are not in the know, and so he's going to be more dismissive.
also,
The easiest thing I could give is that we fall back on the last location's reason for why we were here, why we were there, and we say that we tell him that like one of the Cartiers need him for a blessing on the coming ceremonies or something.
also, Thur, how long was the imp staying in the cathedral basement?
I mean, until we want it somewhere else. So
Okay. Well, eventually the bishop would stop what he's doing. Sort of just like, I think that should be good enough for today, Frederick. We'll see you in the morning. And he would walk out and go back to his room. And the major would stay down there and like nod as he passes, and just
Does he
stand
have
watch.
a private room?
Is the imp following him, or is the imp staying down there?
I kind of want to have him stay there, actually.
Okay.
Do you think
All right.
that the caskets will open up when he's gone?
I guess not. I guess we can have the imp follow him.
Okay. He
Yeah.
goes up to a nice private room, in the cathedral.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will report on the location of the private room to my comrades. Because we're
All right.
trying to find that out before.
Now the imp can go back downstairs and watch the caskets. So we know he has a private room. How we get there could be problematic at first. But all we have to do is get to the room, have him be isolated, and then we could replace him.
Yeah.
if we're going to replace him, it should probably be me, because I do speak Celestial, so I could kind of fumble my way through pretending a ceremony for the major.
Comrade, I am more interested about getting him out, so we may more thoroughly question him when he is dissuaded from the notions that he is protected from the likes of us pagans.
Well, yeah, of course. But then do we want to cover up our tracks behind us, or just let everybody know?
That remains to be seen, though I feel like if he is completely eliminated, no matter what, it will be beneficial to us in the long run.
Oh, of course. But do we want to temporarily replace him while we have him, and so no one knows he's gone?
That is something to be determined.
Okay, well, let's kidnap him and determine him.
Mm.
Let's do it.
Who is our contact in the city? Wasn't it someone?
Joffrey?
It's Joffrey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys haven't returned. You've done a full day of scoping
Yeah,
out 3
spying.
locations.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
haven't
yes.
reported back to him yet. Which means that if you guys all die, then nothing of use is learned.
Yes. Onyx would be interested in going back at this point to report on the various things that we have learned to him, and see if he has any input on how we can get the bishop out of the cathedral.
Okay, so is everybody going back to Sir Joffrey's?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. All right.
Funny enough,
you
I've never
guys-
been here.
This is one of the best ones. Yeah,
One
you
of the
guys.
most complicated ones.
Yeah. Nope, none of that. None of that store. Here, there you go. Okay. So yeah, you reconvene. With Sir Joffrey, he is on the fourth floor of the estate.
I have to remember navigating. There it is. And then the rooftop stuff melding in with it and making things extra difficult. Figure out where in the F there. Oh God, it's no. No, this is Q. Is this not the fourth floor?
Oh no, that's the. Oh, he's on the third floor. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, Q is there as well. And as he returns, he's like, "Ah, so did you use any of the devices for field testing? I am looking forward to your notes."
At the moment, we have made most extensive use of the card of expectation. The others we have put into theory crafting, but have not actually used as of yet.
Interesting, interesting. And how effective has it been?
So far as we can tell, it has been perfectly effective.
Good, 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 good. Good to know. All right. And then Sir Joffrey's like, "Oh, so what have you learned?"
We have learned a great many things. And Onyx will go ahead and explain to him everything that they have found so far today.
Okay.
Especially about the siege and the ships and shit.
Okay. So, tis of grave concern. I will forward that to Sir Persistence at once. Do.
Oh,
But
and tell Elijah about the bitch that wandering around the camp.
yes, of course. He will include that. He will include the underground cult thing, the breaking of the seas, blah blah blah. Yeah, all.
Should also probably include the Cartier thing.
Yeah, the two sisters and the countesses, and yeah,
The
he,
two of them.
he's writing. Did you not
Jock's
know
gonna
there were
have a
two?
oh. No, I knew there was two. I knew there was two after the reveal. I didn't know about any like living vampire relatives Jacques had, so that was no shit moment from the jump for me.
No.
But, my dear comrade, at this moment, I'm wondering if there is any normal reason the bishop might be called away from the cathedral.
If he has orders from the Empress, I assume that those are going to take precedent. I am not a clergyman myself, so I don't know what that could possibly be. It sounds like this ceremony is indeed important.
It certainly does seem that way. This is why I wish to make sure whatever ceremony he is advising does not continue.
Yeah, that would be good if we could interrupt that. It's certainly not going to be something that works in our favor if we can prevent him from carrying through, even though we don't know what it is. Would be wise.
Would it be possible for you to arrange for us to have a domicile structure of some kind, not too distant from the cathedral, be ready for our use in case we need to get
Oh, that would take me time. I don't think I could do it before the parties.
uh,
Could try to bring them here if you must, but that would jeopardize myself and my family, and it's on the other side of the river in a different district, so I would not advise it.
So it sounds like we need to make a domicile empty all on our own.
If you can.
We certainly can. It's more of a matter of how messy such a situation becomes. Tuck, 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 tuck.
Uh, Sir, if you want to give me an intelligence check to see how well, because the imp is not currently at the fort sarcophagus, so cannot describe the thing. So give me an intelligence check to see how well the imp remembers the carvings.
No, the imp
Describe.
the imp is slightly
Yeah,
smarter than me, so it has a 10. So that's a 13.
13. And he's like, ah, that does sound. Why would it be in the bottom of that fort? It is. Sounds like a military battle. They put those on the coffins of, you know, heroes who died in battle and such. Unfortunately, if without more specifics or seeing it myself, I could not necessarily tell you more about it.
What about the patch?
Oh, do you give him the patch? Oh, this is the patch of an officer for. Oh shit! Why did I close that? Why did I close that? Boo. For the first Griffin Riders who are usually stationed at Fort Deschartres. Oh, where did you?
Ah, that's why they're being feasted on. Because of Nash.
What did I do?
It's the Griffin Riders who have been imprisoned and are being feasted on.
Oh, nice.
I will say each of the prisoners had a completely different patch. You only took one.
That is not something that I was aware of until right now.
Fantastic.
Damn it.
That's how I described it. So
Wonderful.
Well, shit.
You want me to
Oops.
send the imp back for more?
I guess not. I thought there was one patch and we grabbed it because there was an officer in the room.
you grabbed the patch of the person who had the biggest cell.
Yeah, I think our thought process was that getting one should be enough to tell us, at least it might be enough to just get us what we needed without having to
Yeah.
like risk more.
Yeah, that's an assumption that you guys, without a lot of military experience, could make. You know for sure that this is a patch of that unit and of an officer of that unit. But the other patches were very much, they were patches in the same style but different designs.
All right. So we don't know as much about them, but
Did we write
with
down the
him
style? Or do I
being
have to
there, well,
remember that? I don't think
I
that
think he's
I wouldn't have
saying
written it down.
I think he's saying style in the sense that it's clear that they're all Alvarez military patches. We just don't know what units.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's what I'm saying
that.
is, does my imp remember for either of the other two what they look like?
Uh,
No.
with the 13, I will say he can loosely describe them. It's like, oh, this. I would make a guess. Those sound like, you know, a footman company, an artillery company. It's Arquebus company. Is just. I couldn't tell you which companies they were without looking at them, but that's just the generic range of patches that the military officers wear.
So
If they were similarly fancy, similar styling to this.
I wonder if they were like all of the units from Fort Deschartres are being interrogated. Maybe they're doing some sort of sweep through, and these are the people they think are spies.
Or it could be the survivors from their ill-fated attempt to attack us. And they have decided that survivors should be punished for running and not fighting.
This is possible. I can look into it, make sure that my contacts within Fort Deschamps are still well and not missing. They haven't checked in this week. I try to not do something to arise too much suspicion.
I would say to do it as regularly as you normally would. This, I don't think, is the key of what we need to know. The key of what we need to know, I still swear, and am very much focused on, is that bishop. Whatever ceremony he is doing, this is not a group of people where I think that sarcophagi are a good sign.
No, unlikely.
Tack, 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 tack. Da. Right. Well, comrades, what is our plan exactly with the demon dogs under the fancy estate? Is it not simply we give them the courage to cause havoc and an explosion up above during the party? Da?
And, so party number 1, we give them the potion, the fireball potion, and they blow that up for us. Problem more or less solved. Party number 2, we use the cockatrice or something else and just wipe out as much of the party as we can. Thoughts?
Before we invest too heavily in that, is there anything else that we need to establish for the third party? Attacking the people in some way would dishearten them, but is this the most effective use of our time?
Well, party number 2, we get to kill the naval officers, which is my thought as far as that one goes.
I agree. I agree. I do think that would be very nice.
All right, so we have 2 options here. We can continue to discuss this in character for half an hour, or because I know some people are falling asleep at the keyboard.
Not
You
falling
guys,
asleep.
you what? You what?
I
Sleep
am not falling asleep.
Okay,
Yeah, you are.
liar. Yeah, we could discuss it there, or you guys can like discuss it in the group chat over the weekend, and then come back on Thursday. Like it's up to you. Do you want to just like do all this in character in this, or do you want to?
I'm fine with discussing it outside of that, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
One thing I
That's the
want to
thing is,
note.
this is a choose our own adventure, so we just need to decide
Yeah.
what we want to get accomplished.
Yeah. The main thing is I think the way it sounds to me is having the cultists under the first party with the helping of some explosives will do a lot of damage all on its own. It does not seem to me that we need to be there to take a more direct hand in things as of
Agreed.
this moment.
Agreed.
I do feel like for right now, we would probably be best served by being physically present at the military party to kill off as many officers as we can there. But
Sounds great.
the unknown is what's going on in those coffins, and that is something that if we can find that out might change our priorities.
Yeah. So we have 2 days until the parties. Let's spend the first 2 days just capture the bishop, torture him, try to figure out what's going on, and then on day 3, just go attack the second party. We can plant the cockatrice now, give the potion of delayed fireball to the people at the first party now, and then just spend the next 2 days focusing on what we need to get done.
Yeah. So
One
the
thing-
only thing I would really need, or I figure that we would probably have to do a check for soon, would be how hard it would be to find a place to interrogate the bishop near the cathedral. on our own. I mean, even if we have to clear out a house of its inhabitants or a bakery, I don't know.
I mean, it's up to it'd be pretty easy to go inside and just murder a family. Like that's
Right,
it's
but
not,
I'm
it's
one
not a
like
particularly hard thing to do.
no, I'm saying I don't know what the block is like if they have patrols regularly. I don't know if there's any areas that we wouldn't have to murder a family in order
The
to secure
city
it,
is
like a
under
house.
siege and under high alert. There are definitely patrols in the streets at night and a curfew, specifically to keep shit like that from happening. But you guys are also professionals.
And during the middle of the day would be less of a concern.
During the middle of the day, he is probably going to be in the basement doing his thing.
Well, yes, but it was established that if we can tell him that we have orders from the Empress, we
He
can
will
get him out of
come
there.
out to talk to you, but not like he. It was in a he put you in, brought you up to his chambers, but it was still, if he would have screamed, people would have heard, sort of thing. So.
Yes, I know. But we can make him expect it.
Yeah.
The card of expectation. Tell him we have orders from the Empress. Show him the card. Have him follow us.
The card shows you what he would expect to see after you tell him something.
Yes. So if I come up to him and tell him, we have orders from the Empress. You need to follow us. Here's our paperwork. It is all in good order. Would
Yeah.
the card be able to do that?
Yeah, by design, it should be.
So yes, it sounds like that's something that we can do with that. At least that's how I am interpreting this.
Yeah.
Why do I not trust you?
I mean, you shouldn't.
And I don't.
Good. Smart man.
Okay, but this is all stuff we can discuss later. But I think that Cell has something else.
Well, one thing I want to note is the first party actually has a big bath in it, and we have dehydrated lightning. We don't really have another plan for it unless we want to flood a building.
We don't have another plan for it at the moment, but I think the explosives is probably going to be doing that job without us needing to use the dehydrated lightning.
What
I mean,
explosives are you talking about?
We don't have it yet, but they have a smuggler's tunnel, and Onyx is very much keen on having a barrel of explosives roll down the tunnel.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, this is also like, so this is outside of our conversation. He is going to want to communicate with the military engineers about what I talked to you about before of reinforcing part of the tunnel, because I am under the impression that this house isn't right next to the wall, right?
No, it's not right next to the wall, but it's in a neighboring district. Like, it's not in the middle of the city.
Right, yeah, but I mean it's far enough away. His thing is if it's far enough away from the wall that they could secure and possibly pre-collapse part of that tunnel so that it's not noticed when the rest of the house explodes. They can then dig out from there and still have a position under the wall. The fact that there is any kind of tunnel already there, even if it's small, is huge in terms of tunnels. That all they would have to do is reinforce it, and it's a massive boon to getting under the defensive instrument that is the wall. Even if all they did then was expand a room under the wall and stuff that with explosives to create a gap in the wall.
I will say, your the army's resources at this point, I'm not sure how much explosives the military has, and your engineers are kind of limited to the dwarves. Like you don't have a full
Right. But
UDDC
I would
army out.
think that they would have enough for one barrel, one cask of gunpowder.
Yeah, like a smallish explosion. Yes, but like
I mean,
you're
that is what I'm talking about for the party.
okay.
The stuff later is just if they can kind of collapse part of the tunnel, so that they don't know that the rest of the tunnel is there. That's just something that's a feather in our cap. I don't need it to be like some massive implement, but the fact that there is any kind of tunnel, we could find another way out of there, or reopen that one with the debris later, or close it up entirely and have them explode the cask on the surface and stay away from that downstairs bit entirely.
Okay. Most of those are honestly Thur decisions to make. I'm just introducing the hooks. So.
Yeah, I get that, but the main thing with that is that party I think is the easiest for us to hand off to the cultists.
Yeah.
Right. And that way, if all of the thing, when all of these things go down, it like kind of just makes it all fall onto the cultists and not us.
For that one,
Right.
we still have to figure out how effectively we could kill the military commanders and get out of there. Maybe. But that's all stuff we can talk about later. We can let people go to sleep.
Cell, what did you have? Because
He was saying about the potion of dehydrated lightning in that place.
oh yeah.
And we could still use it there. It could be very effective. I'm just because we haven't set on anything yet. This is just ideas for killing people.
So how do clerk spells work? I don't get to like prepare them for the day, right?
Yeah, you do.
Oh, let's see here. I wonder, can I
Prepare 'em at
create
the end.
water, flood a building, and then we just like cause some problems? I don't know if that's possible, but we can do that.
Yeah, if you have create water,
Create
depending upon
food
how
and
much.
water. Is this enough water? 30 gallons. Is that enough to cause problems?
30 gallons isn't really enough to like flood a building, but you could definitely
It's 30
You
get
could
it
probably do like a room or something, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
like
I guess we're going full Hitman. A fucking puddle is enough to kill someone if there's a wire
yeah,
going through
exactly.
it. So
I don't know how much water there needs to be for the lightning to work.
If people are just standing in like a few centimeters of water and it just instantly kills them, well, I doubt that will happen. But you know,
That's a Lev question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody else was trying to input during that. Was that Vagabond? I think.
Huh?
No.
I think
Okay.
she was protesting you saying that she wanted to go to bed.
That was a while ago.
I was just gonna say that 30 gallons would just be like 30 jugs of milk, right? And you can think about that.
I'm not gonna dump out 30 jugs of milk to see if that's a mess or not.
From working at Starbucks, it's a lot less than you think.
Well, I guess I can cast this 3 times because it's like a 3rd level spell, which is a big investment. So we can have 90 gallons of water, and you know, I can do that in 30 seconds. Some might confuse some people for sure. Might get some black mold going.
Eventually.
Playing the long game.
But this is all plans right now. Again, plans on
and
plans.
And are you staying in Joffrey's house while you do this, or are you going back to the camp and like reporting to Persistence directly?
I think that would be time inefficient. Don't we have a telepathic method to communicate with him or something?
You have the
Do I have
diplomat's
sending?
pouch.
Diplomat's pouch.
Yeah,
we probably.
Joffrey's been communicating
I
with you
took
guys
sending
via diplomatic pouch, so he can
Yeah,
relay whatever we want.
At this point, yeah. So we would relay this information to Persistence, at least what we've learned. We would ask that some sort of cask or barrel of gunpowder can be prepared, and then
the main reason I'm asking is you have the blood vials, and you guys don't necessarily have any way to do anything with them here, and I'm not sure if any of the player characters would have a way to like identify them or whatnot.
I would definitely have passed on to him.
I mean, Elijah could identify them by taste.
Yeah. Are you in the next day? Are you smuggling those out of the city to get them to Elijah, or is Elijah coming in to check out?
Does Elijah even need to roll for that?
I mean,
I don't know.
It's a question of what else is Elijah doing.
I don't know what week we're on. What is Elijah doing?
Well, Elijah is going off into the swamp on Cell's adventure. So he won't be back until the end of the week.
Okay. So we can get those smuggled out of the city through the smuggler's tunnel that we have access to.
You don't necessarily have access to the noble household. It would be one more visit probably wouldn't be suspicious, but you can't like come and go freely through it.
No, but I mean, with this, we're in my mind, we are taking this day.
I also have a flying invisible imp.
Yeah.
You also have a
Just
flying
just
invisible
take
imp.
it.
Yes.
So who? So
Okay,
who
that's
would
fair.
you? All right. So Elijah would be going off to the swamp doing that thing. Who would be Imp be delivering the blood to?
Persistence.
Well, no, persistence is also going off into the swamp. The player characters are going off into the swamp. So it's whoever is in charge of the army
Yeah,
while
unless
everybody
people
else is
aren't
gone.
going, I can plan this.
Are all the
differently.
player characters going off into the swamp? I can't remember.
Yeah.
I'll say easy option. Just deliver it to Arbaz.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Arbaz is free. I just don't know who's free.
Yeah, Arbaz should definitely be free.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's still there, and he can do the
He's
same
watching
thing.
over he's helping watch over the armies while Elijah can't. Watching over
Okay.
spies, shit like that.
All right, so you deliver it. You get a note saying like after you deliver it, and he just takes a taste, and he would send this to Persistence's group as well, and Persistence would relay it to Elijah, and so Persistence would Elijah.
Yes.
You say, I have a list of people here. I assume they're familiar with you. Elijah, Shay, Arbaz, and then he lists 5 other names. Who are they? They are all shadows.
That's unfortunate.
Apparently, they had this blood and were casting scrying on it.
Oh,
that can
that's
pierce
really not
divination
good.
protection.
Oh shit!
That is not good at all. Well, some of my top agents are all compromised.
You would notice that's basically all of the shadows in the city.
Yeah, we're all compromised.
Now,
He needs to like steal the diplomat's patch from whoever has it and send
And
a
I will
message to Shay
also note
immediately.
this probably includes people that are not necessarily like I'm not sure how many of the shadows went with you and how many were loyalists or whatnot. But if there were any loyalists, this would include loyalist blood as well. Just I don't know what you and Thur worked out for that, but
We hadn't worked anything out more specific than Shay and Arbaz.
okay.
Well, there is one more name, and if that name is in this group, it's a problem.
Is it Bozo?
It's Bozo's
No,
blood.
nope.
Scare
That's actually a shadow.
There's a fourth name in the shadows that if they're on to that last person, we have a very significant issue.
I'm trying to remember.
Is this
Layla.
just gonna be a?
Yeah, if Layla's blood is in this batch, we have a fucking crisis, and literally Elijah might just take off.
I wanted to. Yeah. All right.
Oh.
Third, should we have a private conversation about that?
A good point to call it, so that way there could be a little bit of a holy shit conversation.
Because Shay, Arbaz, those suck. It sucks that they figured out that they're traitors because we were using them as inside people still.
So let me see if I've worked out what Lev is going for here. Like I think Lev's idea here is that this is like a standard security measure to use against shadows.
This is the way that they keep track of shadows, just in case. It is not necessarily a red flag. These are traitors, but it is something that the shadows would not necessarily be aware of.
Okay, then we're sending out at least letters to Layla, and I do need to know if Layla's blood is in the batch, though.
That's the third question.
Who is Layla?
You'll find out.
Is the idea that
No,
these are just
great.
the shadows that are in this
Backstory
city?
stuff.
It is just the shadows that that are operating within the city.
In that case, Layla's blood would not be here.
Cool. I'm gonna send a immediate, emergency missive to her and every other shadow that I have contact with, and I'm in a way to contact.
Yeah, it's pretty safe to assume that it's not here, but it is somewhere.
Yeah, so she still needs to know because this is a problem, especially if they have
Layla, your wife.
multiple sets of our blood. You don't need to know who Layla is.
Oh,
That's his wife.
it's his wife.
I will say then,
Oh,
if you would only know of those three, there are 5 names that you might not have heard about that are also in there, which you can probably assume is another cell of shadows operating in the city.
Well, I know there's probably 2 in there that I've tasted their blood myself because we murdered one of them. The one whenever we rescued.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Actually, one of the vials that gets opened up before Abaz can taste it, it turns to ash.
Yep, there's their blood. Okay, but yeah, we're gonna let everyone know, and I'm even gonna send like some regular letters whenever I have a chance, just to shadows that I'm not actually affiliated with. Just hey, you know that they do this? Kind of
Mm-hmm.
start sowing some more
So what
distrust
you're
as
saying
I'm
is
trying to.
like this is an oh shit moment that might turn into us having all of the shadows be on our side.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Or
We
because
present to you,
this.
we present to
I don't
you the
know.
bloody Edward
that's the
Snowden.
opposite of what I was thinking it was going to turn into, but okay.
Yeah,
Mm,
because like if they
I
can,
mean,
well, so think about
if
it this
they
way.
can track the shadows, and the shadows are unaware of that, and it's because it's a chance that they could go rogue. It's them. They might think. So you think that we're all gonna go rogue, which means they might not come to our side, but certainly might not work for the Empire anymore.
I will say if you showed Q the dust and explained what it was, and he's like, "Oh yes, that's it's a product that we actually developed a few centuries ago. Uh, it is one that originally it's the only commission the Alvarez ever came to us with, and immediately after that they declared us unclean pagans and cut off all ties, without paying us, I might add. It's very unfortunate. But yes, this is something that we sell to governments who have agents that they wish to put protections from scrying and such on. But if you have a sample of their blood, you can use it and this powder, a circle made of this powder, to pierce those specific enchantments.
Yeah,
So wait,
there also might be
Oh
some agents
shit!
who are like, well, I mean, I love the Empire regardless, so I have nothing to
there
hide.
will
Does it
be.
does it have to be that specific subject's blood, or
oh
can
yes,
it be a?
you need if you have someone's blood, you can pierce a divination spell on it when you can pierce a protection against scrying when scrying upon them if you have this blood and specifically a circle made of this powder.
Okay.
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 Here's the
Oh
problem as
shit!
a shadow,
The
though.
the downside is that the blood needs to be fresh. However, these vials of preservation keep anything in them fresh perpetually until the
God
core.
damn!
It's a very ingenious system.
Damn it, science be damned.
He's very excited. It's like, oh yes, I read about this. We sell it to X all these different people. He definitely
Shit
lists
bricks.
Anton as one of the people that he sold it to.
I feel like that would be part of an NDA.
Well, but they weren't paid, so fuck their NDA, right?
No, 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 like
Oh
Anton's
crap!
NDA.
That actually.
Oh, yeah.
That act.
Okay, there you go.
Here's the problem with them
That,
doing this,
that's
though.
now my oh shit moment, because if this is the case, and if what my fear is that they've just gotten around one of the
Oh,
items I took
he'll realize
specifically
this
to
and go,
say,
oops, too much, and pull out a neuralizer out of his pocket and just erase the last 5 seconds, and then explain it again without the NDA stuff.
so that I have to ask as well. No, I guess I can't. That's metagaming too hard. I'm gonna sit here in the fear of this knowledge.
Here's the problem as a shadow. We've always known we were expendable, and that in and of itself tends to form some resentment, even amongst the most loyal, because it kind of sucks that you're just cannon fodder, even if that's your only purpose. The problem is we were trusted cannon fodder. No one really tracked our movements. No one paid attention to where we were. We went, we got our missions done. We got to learn secrets, and we got to be at least kind of on our own in how we handled things. This level of oversight, them not telling us about it, is going to inspire rage in a lot of shadows.
Because they weren't even trusted and expendable. They were just
Uh-huh.
expendable.
Yeah.
Right.
And also Elijah's actually deciding whether or not he just needs to leave the party because they're not just gonna have one vial. And if there's no
Well,
way to stop this,
See, my thing
that's a
is
problem.
this might have more implications than just them being able to track the shadow.
do you think they'd be able to track?
So, question about the
How
blood. Is some
long?
of the blood
My
consumed
thing
in the
is,
scrying process? Or is it just good over and over again? Like, do they have to pull it? Yeah.
it says fresh, so I'd imagine it would be consumed in the scrying.
Oh no, you just need to use it as a focus.
Mhm.
I will say they did not get much of the powder from us. Probably just enough for a couple dozen circles. So this is limited in some way.
How long do the vials of preservation make the liquid last?
They
for?
also only got about 50 vials of preservation, although those are far more easy to replicate.
How long do they last?
Oh,
And then
perpetually.
the preservation. Oh, God. Okay. Yep.
Warranty of
I'm
2
back into my
millennia.
fear. I'm back into my fear.
I don't think they would have had blood from Cartier from before because they probably wouldn't have thought he was important enough for it.
Well, here's the question. How close is close enough?
And here's the other question: why not just have everyone's blood?
Well, anybody
You
that
would
you care
think that
about, yeah.
you
Sometimes
would.
you're gonna get hungry.
It's like all of the shadows. You would watch all of your Viscounts. It depends on how paranoid everything is.
Here's
And
the
look
other
at
thing.
Blackwood.
How many people are giving blood in a way that's not suspicious? Because the shadows specifically had to give blood as part of the transformation process, which is why it probably never crossed their mind. But just like if they walked in and just said to Count Cartier and said, "Hey, we need a vial of your blood," that would be a memorable experience for him.
But what do you say no?
But you gotta look
Well,
at how this empire treats blood as like sacred and holy.
I mean, they could
Mhm.
very easily have incorporated something like that into one of their religious rituals and for like higher
Yep.
ranking people, and it wouldn't have drawn any attention.
But it's also
God help.
but
God help. My thing is like God help if they did anything where they would go, you know what, we want this to be really binding as you like sign into being a Viscount or a Count. Sign this in blood.
But I will say this too. The only thing that makes this different from just being able to cast scry on somebody with a piece of their hair is that it can pierce divination protection spells, which are likely things that they will like. Q will
Pierce.
emphasize it's like this is specifically made for intelligence agents that would be equipped with amulets of protection from scrying. If
And
you are not
Jacques
somebody,
has one.
yeah,
But would
That's
they have
my
thought about
fear.
that ahead of time?
It's the whole. It's not like, oh, we did this like for. I would imagine they would just take that
where did
precaution. Like
Jacques get that amulet from?
Jacques, like when I was making the character and stuff, Jacques got the amulet
But
and
who?
Yeah.
stuff. So I'd imagine
So
he
where
got
did
it
it
in
come from?
Astarius.
Yeah. So if they didn't give him an amulet, they'd have no reason to need to bypass the amulet.
But after they find out the rebellion, you think they'd be like, yeah, Jacques would do something to be non-detection.
So the question is, how paranoid were they about Jacques betraying them? Or just not
That's
even
a
Jacques specifically, but like all of their
it
people.
how that's the thing is like how like they're paranoid enough to where this is news for the shadows. They would be I feel they would be paranoid about everybody else too.
Hmm.
You cannot trust anyone that you cannot actually control. And look at
Yeah.
all of the humans you have. You can like I only say that because the Count wanted Godwin to drink the blood to become whatever the hell he was going to turn into to control him against his will.
Also, we know
If
for a
that
fact they would have
occurred,
taken some
there'd be
Godwin's
no
blood.
reason to have to do this ritual with Godwin's blood because he'd be able to be controlled. But
Right.
you can't control everyone, so you have to be paranoid.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They would
to me.
definitely have the blood of all of your children now. Because they can't trust you.
Well, the
At the most, they would have Godwin's and Aurelia's blood, but they would
Yeah.
not have his daughter's.
Problem is,
They
we've
wouldn't-
already been
But
throwing
they
away.
wouldn't need Aurelia's blood because she is in the capital.
But now they can scry you, the kid, or me at any time, know where we or our armies are at all times.
They have your
Or
blood.
at least once a
You
day.
have your blood now.
I have one set of my blood. How do I know that's the only set?
Yep. Welcome to the paranoia breeding paranoia.
I guess it's the classic question: what level do you want to play the game at? Just like one level deeper than your opponent.
Uh-huh.
They've had, 300 years to build up layers.
How many shadows have gone rogue in that time, though?
That's
Because remember,
fantastic.
they've been around for a while. They're also very arrogant. I'm saying this is persistence now. This is a bone that I'm throwing Thur. It's in Thur's hands from now on, not mine. So
With all this level of intrigue, I am going to bed.
All right.
And I
The reason,
Good
like,
night.
I'm gonna
the
go
Empire
ahead
has been around for